very warm welcome to the first session with a very easy, light, digestible topic of intelligent information request and delivery. And I'm very happy to have our consortium team here today with the working group conveners and Anne Kusen as the steering committee coordinator together with me from the iiRDS office, Achim Steinacker, who is the convener of Working Group Tools, Validation and Content, and also Harald Stadelbauer, who is the convener of Working Group Development. So all the expertise from iiRDS that is convener-wise here, and some of them that are very active in the community as well are here in the audience. So we hope to give you a broad overview of what we have been doing this year in the iiRDS Consortium and what's next in store and what we are doing in the upcoming year. So first of all, Anne will give you an overview of what's been done this year, developments, and what's coming up, and then we'll go into the details of each working group. So Anne, the floor is yours.
So thank you for your introduction. So, a very warm welcome also from my side, and I will give you a brief overview of what we achieved this year and the planned activities for the next year. Yeah, okay. So in 2025, our strategic goals focused on driving international standardization and further developing of iiRDS, and we work to position iiRDS as an integral part of Industry 4.0 and expanded tool support to make the standard more accessible to organizations. We also aim to strengthen our collaboration with universities to foster innovation and knowledge transfer, and our marketing and training initiatives aim to increase awareness and understanding of iiRDS, while our efforts to grow the consortium were intended to lead a broader and more diverse membership. And additionally, we sought to implement pilot projects and develop a concept for certifications for consultants. So, building on these strategic goals, I'd now like to review the specific activities and achievements from last year. And this year, the tender section focused on integrating the requirements of VDI 2770 into iiRDS. And consequently, the development of a new iiRDS version was commissioned to implement these requirements. At the same time, collaboration with the Digital Data Chain Consortium continued with the aim of consolidating VDIs 2770 and iiRDS into an international standard, and this will also be continued next year. And in addition, online training sessions and various pilot projects were carried out once again. So let's take a look at the deliverables section. The DDA plugin has been integrated into the online training, and a guide for the easy use of iiRDS in daily work has been created and published. And in addition, we have continued our collaboration with Smart Standards, BFO, IDO, and IDTA to further strengthen the position of iiRDS in the relevant domains. Furthermore, the committee draft for vote has been submitted to IEC TC3 for voting, and 3 new members were also recruited, and consortium members participated in various international conferences to present iiRDS in lectures, for example, at Convex at San Jose, USA, and tcworld in China. So, collaboration with universities was somewhat limited this year, although a university representative did participate in the online training. And finally, we decided that the certification for consultants was postponed due to a lack of need for action. So what other activities took place this year? The DDCC plugin was promoted in various ways, including presentations at different events, webinars, and social media campaigns. And an extensive FAQ collection was created to make iiRDS easier to use. And in addition, we have collaborated with DDCC for further optimize the DDCC plugin. We also monitor changes in regulations and directives to ensure iiRDS meets the latest requirements, and furthermore, we have continuously advocated to raise awareness of iiRDS. So, just a moment. This was a brief overview of the roadmap 2025. Let's move on to the key activities and deliverables for 2026. So looking ahead to 2026, our strategic goals remain focused on international standardization and the further development of iiRDS. We will deepen cooperation with other organizations to leverage synergies and expand tool support for iiRDS. Strengthening our practical approach will ensure that iiRDS delivers real-world value, and marketing, events, and communication will remain key priorities, along with expanding consortium memberships and initiating additional international pilot projects. And we are also targeting the US market and enhancing our training programs and continuing collaborations with universities. So let's explore how we plan to advance international. No, this is not right. So let's take a look at the overview of the roadmap 2026. So we are planning the following tenders for 2026. A viewer for quick and easy display of the contents of iiRDS packages, a specialized MCP server for iiRDS content, which offers more detailed content information to agentic systems. And in collaboration with the joint working group on DDCC, we aim to further enhance the DDCC plugin. And as every year, funding for pilot projects will also be available again. So, in terms of deliverables, we will focus on implementing new information classes or connectors, such as those for chatbots. We also aim to expand the software domain and optimize maintenance within iiRDS. And one of our important goals is to finalize the final draft international standard, so that IEC 63485 can be completed and published. In addition, we will continue working on establishing iiRDS in the context of Industry 4.0, for example, by aligning the intelligent information for use submodel with handover documentation for the administration shell. As in previous years, ongoing activities include delivering online training, increasing membership, and strengthening cooperation with universities. So, and the activities, and we aim to evaluate our tools regarding their applicability and usage, including through a survey. We also continue working on integrating iiRDS into other ontologies and, for example, smart standards, and will therefore maintain collaboration with various organizations next year. Furthermore, we will monitor changes in regulations and directives and continue our lobbying efforts. And in addition, marketing activities will be carried out and participation in international events as planned. So, to make iiRDS even more practical, we intend to collect additional FAQs and share real-world use cases. So if you have any questions or application examples for iiRDS to share, please feel free to contact us. We would be happy to include them. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for the introduction of our plans for next year. I'll continue now with the working group standards. So you already heard a bit about what we've been up to and what we've done this year. First of all, give you an overview of the expertise behind the working group, just to give them some exposure as well, and see who else is in our consortium and in our teams. So, as already mentioned, we have the collaboration with the Digital Data Chain Consortium, the short DDCC. They've commissioned us to work on an international standard together with them. They're the main drivers or main part of the DDCC is the VDI 2770, and VDI 2770 is driven by the process industry, so that's their background, what they are, the background they are coming from, and they want to move into digital documentation as well. So they want to into international standardization. So that was the motivation of collaborating with us on an international standard, since we have been working on IEC 63485 as a PAS, as a public available specification. It is already published as a publicly available specification under said number. However, now we want to move it into international as an international standard. So that is our goal for the next years. And we already started last year with a new work item proposal that was submitted and already accepted, as Anne said. So now, this year, we went into phase 2 of the project, which was the preparation of a committee draft for vote. So we're still working on that. And of course, as we all know, standardization, it takes some rounds within the community, within DDCC, but also, of course, within IEC Technical Committee 3, Working Group 28, which is responsible for the international standard and working on that. So that's what we did in March. A new work item proposal was approved. Without any comments, without any rejections, which is already a good starting point to work with and start with. So there wasn't any comments or anything holding us back from working on it from that point of respect that none of the national committees from within TC3 had anything else. So Working Group 28 was pretty free in working on the committee draft. And then we had also the plenary meeting in Chengdu, where we could also create some further exposure and awareness about our project, about iiRDS, and of course about the integration of VDI 2770, which we from now on basically call handover documentation, which is also more aligned with how we call the submodel, because that's what the submodel, the IDTA submodel is called. It's called Intelligent Information for Use on one side, which would be the iiRDS use case in the standard, and then on the other side we would have handover documentation use case where VDI 2770 is behind it. So that is the way we are working at to get it more aligned with the submodels, but also of course getting everything aligned within the standard itself, and integrating VDI 2770 and iiRDS, and updating the PAS, getting more metadata as normative data into the standard, and hopefully, to be completed then next month. It takes some more rounds within the Working Group 28, and of course the alignment with in the iiRDS Consortium and VDI 2770 group, the DDCC, to get that done. And that is our goal then, to be completed by December, to start into phase 3. And the phase 3 then is basically the preparation of the final draft international standard, the FDIS. And the voting period for that will start then in Q1 next year. And hopefully 12 weeks voting period. So we hope to get a lot of approval. So if you're involved in standardization in your national bodies, maybe within TC3, to be aware of that, but that's coming up. And feel free to ask me any questions beforehand, so I can brief you about the project that's coming up and the committee draft for vote. So then in summer, like from May to July next year, we will check the comments coming from the national committees and revise it, integrate it, and hopefully then have the final vote within TC3 August, September, to get the final approval, and then by the end of the year have the, as Anna already teasered, have the publication of the international standard 63/485. So that is our goal. Then for the end of next year, and if there are any questions to that, we can have the question towards the end, if there are any specifications. What's next then coming? Oh, that's just a timeline for you to follow up then later on if you wanted, because the slides will be uploaded afterwards. What we also have within working group standards is the cooperation with the Industrial Digital Twin Association, IDTA. As I said before, we're trying to align and update the submodels, and the submodel was released as intelligent information for use in March this year with an IDTA, so I put a link in there as well. You can download it from the IDTA website or from GitHub. And that is the submodel based upon the iiRDS version 1.2. We now just recently released a new version, so there will still be some work done to do some lobbying and also create some awareness of that new version within IDTA, because just to update this the SAT submodel to the new version, and also create some awareness about the standard that we are working on, and the alignment that would be helpful. And of course, also to align both submodels, since we are aligning the standard, both standards, VDI 2770 and iiRDS under an international standard. It makes sense to also align, of course, the handover documentation submodel with the intelligent information for use submodel. So that would be the next step, that we would bring together IDTA, the iiRDS Consortium, and DDCC to a table and say, okay, what are the needs, what are the requirements, and to align the submodels as well. So that's up for next year as well, and what we achieved this year from the working group standards. Next up would be Achim, telling us a little bit of what they have in store with lots of the tenders that Anne already mentioned, so to be busy. There you go.
So hi, welcome from my side, and my presentation this year will be rather short because we had quite a relaxing year. With the usual suspects, as every year, people from the technical communication and also software vendors, and main goal this year was support the step towards the international usage of iiRDS, and that's what we mainly did. I mean, Harald has done most of the work, so he's also got the larger part in this presentation. We were just supporting him, because in 2024 we had two tenders. The DITA Open Toolkit plugin, mainly Mark and Martin sitting here in the audience, who did the work, and also the request part of the specification. And we decided, okay, it doesn't make sense to push and publish software continuously, but to develop something, to publish it, and then try to get it to use from the audience, and have a look of what about the feedback. So main things we did is we included it in the iiRDS training, and we supported the usage of the DITA plugin with attending conferences, with some articles, and also with getting in contact with Bob Johnson from the DITA Technical Committee, who is now also a consortium member. So, but having a relaxed year means we'll have to do something in 2026, And this is where we want to start new tenders again, new software. We're discussing about probably just a simple viewer for iiRDS packages. You import it into a server and you get a small and handy user interface, so you just can have a look of how it finally looks inside a content delivery portal. Then hopefully you attended Mark's talk yesterday about the MCP servers. If not, it's recorded and you should have a look at it. So it's more or less like chat with your iiRDS package. I think Google Gemini yesterday announced chat with your document. So just upload a document and immediately start a discussion with a chatbot about the content of your document. Why not do the same with an iiRDS package? Just a headless system where you can upload an iiRDS package and immediately start a chat with what's inside. So you can check how your content will behave in a chatbot environment, and you can probably also integrate it in an agent framework running somewhere in your company or probably also on your laptop. And so you can chat with your technical content within a minute. We have to do some improvements with the Data OT plugin. A very simple thing is just to upgrade it to support the upcoming version 1.3. But also probably to implement the proposal from the Data Technical Committee to support these subject schema proposals, or also some extensions to support the full iiRDS vocabulary. We will support the documentation for marketing to support the internationalization, probably with some showcases, probably with videos or visualization, where people can see how iiRDS is already used in many products and projects. And one quite important thing for our internal work is we could improve our own knowledge about how the tools are used and where they are used. We are interested in more feedback, so probably we have to start some questionnaires, some activities to gain feedback from people, how our tools, the Data Open Toolkit, the iiRDS Open Toolkit, the request parts of how they are actually used and what might be improved. But as I said, most of the work has been done by Harald. So Harald, your show. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. We are the working group development, and this is the group, a very active group actually. Contribution is quite high. We are meeting regularly once a month, which is, to tell the truth, not a lot, because this comes down to 11 meetings per year, maybe. Yeah. Therefore, we started to spin off special interest groups for topics who actually then is interested in topics. Our target is let iiRDS be integrated in all relevant domains. iiRDS shall be a kind of puzzle stone in order that you are able to really to fulfill your business case and shall add value. Now, who was in last year in this presentation? Yeah, some of you. Last year I showed you this slide for the goals of 2025, and then things developed quite differently, actually. We put that into the backlog originally. We started with that activity. We postponed actually the e-learning evaluation of the usefulness of it. An ongoing activity is the liaison with the Industrial Ontologies Foundation. and taxonomy and scarce integration. We did some kind of trials of how to bring that together, and then decided to create a best practice paper, which is an ongoing activity currently. The actual priorities were the following ones. So we started in working on the release version 1.3, harmonizing with VDI 2770, leading to a new IEC standard. I always forget the number, 63485. Yeah. Who of you is using the asset administration shell and the submodels from the IDTA, the Industrial Digital Twin Association? Nobody? Well, actually, if you are using them, you have to draw a decision currently. Do you fill in the submodel of handover documentation, mainly consisting of PDFs, or do you fill in actually the submodel intelligent information for use, granting you more kind of granularity? Wouldn't it be perfect if you have one submodel covering the goals of both of them? And that's what the goal is of this activity of the version 1.3. 1.3 is now live since Saturday, actually. On the iiRDS.org webpage as well as on the GitHub. Then this is done. Then we have the ongoing activity of add maintenance to specifications. Adding maintenance to specifications, in that case, that you can really mirror all the different aspects of maintenance within iiRDS is quite a difficult task, because there are a lot of different kinds of maintenance intervals and things like that. There we draw the decision to link up with maintenance ontologies and take a look of actually how we can connect with them. E-learning is postponed. We will take a look of the usefulness next year. Support documentation. The FAQ collection ease of use is an ongoing activity where we are collecting frequently asked questions from you and try to answer them actually with a good proposal. As well as Mark Schubert did a great job in collecting a best practice guide for the standardized use and ease of use of iiRDS. E-class harmonization is ongoing. We are expecting a closer cooperation with them. And the connection to top-level ontologies is ongoing too, coming up in a minute what we are doing there. Taxonomy and scarce integration is in preparation still. Now the priorities were, the top priority was the release 1.3. What are the results of that? The results are a new additional package format called H. This additional package format consists of a mandatory content list in order that you can check which kind of documents are in, which is very vital for the VDI 2770, for example. You have an additional optional JSON serialization for that. Then you have actually nested packages within the new package format H, which was already possible in version 1.2. But in 1.2, you really nested the packages, which led to some difficulties and troubles in the path length system when you actually then read in the packages. Now there is a new approach. This is harmonized with the Digital Data Chain Consortium in order that you have a flat hierarchy of iiRDS packages, and you are mirroring the hierarchy via the componentry. This is a very interesting approach because actually railway industry is mainly working like that. You have a kind of product hierarchy, and then you are linking up the information to the relevant parts of the train, for example. This is how it looks like, actually. This is an example of 3 nested products. You have actually a motor, and then you have a switch as a component of the motor. And you see in the last part of this package how it refers to then to the downward hierarchy of the product. Then this all was consolidated into an additional domain, into the handover domain. And this handover domain has a new kind of class, which is very vital for the VDI 2770. It's the document category, because in the VDI 2770, it's to a legal kind of handover of information, and you have to check which kind of documents did he really provide with the product. Within the document category, you have a lot of instances, mainly the instances you have in the VDI 2070. What did we do? What are the chances of that? The chances are that you can harmonize handover documentation submodel with the intelligent information for use submodel. You have a legal kind of possibility of handing over the information with the product, as well as you get the benefits out of a granular information provisioning for any kind of contextual information provisioning. What were the next things we did? As I told already, Parson with Mark Schubert compiled a guide for the standardized use of iiRDS, Parson and Plasmita. This guide shows you detailed explanations of the elements with examples for tagging of information. For manual use, in order that you, if you want to really tag the information units actually yourself, as well as for use in large language models. This guide was tested with examples using Claude Sonnet, a very kind of popular large language model, and therefore you have the possibility to integrate that into your production chain of getting your information units then tagged and available. We linked up with the Oasis DITA group because we heard a lot of DITA users that they don't get the metadata out of DITA what they need. Actually, we then discovered that the metadata are not in the DITA topics themselves. So there was no chance to get metadata out which are not there at once. So we said, okay, how can we do that? And we linked up with the developers of all new DITA versions. We have been granted a non-voting membership in Oasis DITA, which we didn't fill in so far, but we intend to do. And the goals were, first of all, how can we provide IRIs, International Resource Identifiers, in DITA to read them out into iiRDS, how we can extend then DITA representations beyond the current plugin, how we can develop mechanisms to hand over actually additional metadata from the DITA topics to iiRDS. And last but not least, we did some work in show possibilities to integrate Markdown with that too, because this will be a forthcoming issue with the new legal situations in machinery where software becomes a very quite higher actually status than before. We used DITA subject schemes to provide that with a certain kind of possible schema, and now we are evaluating that. The conceptual work has been done, and then the next step would be to make an upgrade of the current DITA Open Toolkit plugin to integrate that. Then we did, you know that you have a SCOS labeling schema already available on the iiRDS page, but machinery is missing. So we did that work this year. There is no schema out there currently, but the work has been done, the conceptual work, with 3 issues we have to solve still. Change requests for protective equipment concerning the description, change request concerning the flow diagram, because flow diagram is put into direct relation to Stromlaufplan. A flow diagram is a more general approach actually, and environmental note, where we think maybe we should open up a separate kind of class dealing with all these ESG and sustainability issues. Then our goals for next year. First of all, we want to evaluate which kind of connectors are missing, which kind of use cases can we draw in order to add more value actually out of iiRDS. For example, chatbots. That's one of the possible things here. We got several requests from US companies in evaluating the software domain. Is the software domain currently covering everything, or are we missing out actually some possibilities there? And if we are discovering that this is the case, then we want to extend actually the software scheme. Connecting to other ontologies. Mark is the ambassador to the Industrial Ontology Foundry. We linked up with the Industrial Data Ontology, which is an ISO standard actually, to really integrate nicely into these ontologies, which are already covering a lot of the surrounding issues where we want to use the documentation to solve them. And ease of use as priority 2 for other segments like railway and medical devices, where we might need some more kind of structures or maybe even only a taxonomy part for iiRDS. This ends my presentation. Many thanks.
Thank you, Harald. So now I would like to open the round of questions. If you have any, after that whopper of information, it's a very broad view, it's a very broad field. So are there any questions that came up to any of those working group topics about the developments that you have? If not, just let me draw, or not yet, you still have some minutes to find some, but if you, depends on where you are with iiRDS, how familiar you are with iiRDS, we also published a special edition of the tcworld magazine this year on iiRDS, just to get some basic information about iiRDS with some use cases in it and some general information. So if you're not familiar yet with iiRDS, that might be a good way to get started and get a first look into iiRDS. It's available on the website as a PDF. Or if you stop by the TechCom booth, just down the hall, there is also the printed version of the magazine, so if you want to grab that. And also, of course, if any questions later on arise, either myself will be available at the TechCom booth, or our experts here, Harald and Achim, they are exhibitors, and also the two lads that we mentioned a couple of times, Martin and and Mark, they're sitting there. They're exhibitors as well with Parson and Empolis, so you can stop by there. Our 9FAB has a booth as well, so you can stop there and ask the experts directly. But if you have any questions now, take the chance. No? No questions? Okay. So feel free to, as I said, ask questions afterwards. And for the German speakers amongst you, you can stay seated if you want to find out more about iiRDS and how it's connected to eIDAS. eIDAS is about smart standards and how those relations and how that fits together, because there will be a presentation coming up again with Harald and also Ulrike Parson, who you're probably very familiar with as well. Thank you very much.